A smaller battery, more range, a lot better charging, and smoother ride. This is the 2026 updated XPENG G9 Performance, and it's time for another full review. Welcome to It's Only Electric. Let's start.
It's only electric.
So the G9 is a full-sized SUV measuring 4.9 meters in total length with a wheelbase of just below 3 meters, curb weight 2.4 tons, so a bit heavier than before. I'm gonna explain why. Dual motor setup here at the front, a induction motor, at the rear a permanent magnet motor with a combined output of 423 kilowatts or 576 horsepower, 695 Nm of torque. It does 0 to 100 in 4.2 seconds, so slightly slower than the older version, with a top speed of 200 km per hour. Another update is the new LFP battery setup, so no matter which version you go for, you will always get a LFP pack. This one, the performance version, does have the bigger pack with a gross capacity of 93 kWh, so slightly smaller than the old 98 NMC pack, and a net capacity of 92. But the good thing is that the car is a bit more efficient than before and therefore delivers slightly higher stated WLTP range of 540 kilometers. And the new battery pack setup is the explanation of a slightly heavier car. Equipped with the 21-inch wheels, 255/45 all around. In this case, we're closing into winter time, unfortunately, and it's running on studless winter tires, so Continental Viking contact tires. I think this is more of a classical approach of how wheels could look, and that goes for the whole G9. I mean, the design is more of a conservative SUV design, and I think that's a good thing. I mean it in a good manner. I mean, a lot of people want a more combustion engine or more classic looking SUV, and I think G9 may be your choice. And the new battery pack also comes with better charging, so instead of the old 300 kilowatt peak power, this one has a staggering 525 kilowatts, 800 volt system, 10 to 80% in 12 minutes only. This is the fastest charging car available in Europe at the moment, even quicker than the Zeekr 7X. When it comes to home charging, a bit more disappointing in this case, still 11 kilowatts, 3-phase support. So let's check out the rear end and some of the practical aspects. I still think this is kind of the Range Rover of EVs. I mean, the overall look and feel of the car is really in that same market. When it comes to the boot capacity, you have a maximum capacity, depending on the angle of the rear backrests, of 660 liters, and that's with this compartment included. So you have not that much space underneath here actually, compared to other alternatives on the market. On top of that, a frunk of 71 liters and a tow hitch with a tow capacity of 1.5 tons. If you want to fold the seats, you have a 2-split setup. Unfortunately, there is still no ski latch or a middle fold section. That's a bit sad, but you fold the seats from here. Very easy. Still kind of a load lip when you fold the seats, so not totally flat. And since it had a dual chamber air suspension, you can lower the car from here for more easy loading and unloading of the G9. And the G9 is known for a very good and comfortable back seat, and that also goes for the updated version. Of course, as you see, 2 fists of headroom. That's really nice. The closing door sound, very high quality, even if it has unframed windows, and both auto positions is heated and ventilated. I think the ventilation is new for the updated version. And on top of that, you also have massage. So you activate the massage here from the side. And this is a really nice massage, not only a air cushioner, it's a shiatsu massage here in the back too. So you have all the comfort aspects you actually need. And on top of that, you can recline the angle of the rear seat. So I'm gonna recline it in the most laid down position. This is it. And you can even extend the thigh support. You do that with the toggler here on the side of the seat. Unfortunately, this doesn't help me because the bench is still too low for supporting my legs, but good for people with, I don't know, maybe you have very long thighs, but short underlegs. I haven't seen any person having that, but there's probably someone. When it comes to legroom, as you see, my knees are not touching, almost touching, and my feet is possible to squeeze underneath the front seat without touching the top of it. So plenty of legroom, headroom, and overall a very comfortable back seat. And of course, the front seat is adjusted after my driver position. I'm 6'4" or 193 centimeters tall. So this may be one of the best, or if not the best, back seat. I think it's very close to the back seat in the Zeekr 7X. What I miss most though is the loading latch here in the middle, the ski latch. It actually removes some of the practical things you could do with this car. And also one thing that I would have wanted for a premium car like this, I want the air vents to be placed on the B-pillar because it's more convenient for the rear passengers and your knees won't be covering the airflow. So this one has two manual air ventilations at the midsection. Underneath that you have a USB-A port and a USB-C port. And some extra amount of storage here in the pockets and bottle storage in the door bins or the door sides. Another update that I know that many of you are asking me about is the panoramic glass roof. So this is kind of a 3-layer silver glass roof, so it's updated to withstand higher or more extreme temperature, I should say. And they state that it's able to handle 8 degrees extra in the cabin, thanks to the updated glass roof. I really don't know what that actually means, and I really can't test it because currently we don't have any extreme temperatures here in Sweden. It's 8, 9 or 10 degrees Celsius, and I won't be able to tell you guys if it's really better or not, but it looks a bit different when you see the tinting, and hopefully that's a good thing, especially for you guys in Australia. The XPENG G9 is still one of the more premium alternatives on the market, maybe the most premium one available yet in this specific segment. And you feel that when you see the interior, also when you touch it, because the materials are top notch. I mean, soft touch materials, everything is cushioned, nothing feels cheap. It's a good look and feel, and this color combination is new and it's called coffee. So it's kind of a light brown color, goes very well together with the dark or black details and the black microfiber roofline or headliner. And this is a really nice cabin. And there is some updates compared to the older generation of the G9. The first really obvious one is the steering wheel. This steering wheel reminds me of Stuart in The Family Guy. The same shape as his head. The eyes. You get the point. I'm not really a fan of the design of the steering wheel. What I love though is the position and the feeling of the buttons. So there's no haptic touch buttons, there's no piano black finish here, so no smudging. It's clean and it's easy to control. You have the rollers here at each side. To the right you have the controls for the media, whilst to the left you have voice control, but also the driving aid systems. Both these wheels act as customization options for or controllers for the instrument cluster. The best thing with the updated steering wheel is the capacitive touch functionality. So you don't need any torque or you don't need to press the steering wheel for the car to recognize that you're holding it. So when I am driving as I am now at Autopilot Active or LCC Active, I only need to slightly touch it and then it feels it because it's capacitive instead of torque based, and that makes it a bit easier. You don't need to force the steering wheel, it just needs a simple touch, and that's a very good update, maybe one of the best updates on the G9. The screens are still the same, so you still have a central or instrument cluster that's 10.25 inch. You have two screens, one central media screen that's almost 15 inch, 14.95, companioned by a passenger screen. I think it's turned off now it's active, also 14.95 inch. They are exactly the same as in the older version, so there's no specific update to the screens as such. Doesn't have any head-up display. I think that's a bit sad for a car in this premium segment. I would wish for a head-up display. Fortunately, you still have the instrument cluster, so that's not a biggie. Sound system is the same, still running the premium audio system with 22 speakers, 2150 watts, Dolby Atmos functionality. So this is one of the best sound systems in any car you can get, according to me. One of the best ones. It's a really crisp sound system. It's better than the Zeekr sound. It's better than the old Yamaha system in the Zeekr cars. It's, I would say it's more crisp than Tesla's own sound system, even if I like or love that sound system too. I think this has more details and more possibilities to customize the sound, the image of the sound. So a really great sound system. Other updates, recently XPENG updated the Qi chargers. Nothing, that's the voice control. They updated the Qi chargers, so now it's running dual 50 watt ventilated Qi chargers. They are very well positioned, they work really good, and the good thing is that I don't hear the active ventilation, so it's silent too. That's a very good setup. Underneath that, you still have these two narrow cup holders. I'm a bit sad that they didn't update those, because you can't fit two thick bottles. So if you have a bigger cup or mug, these are too small for those. I mean, this works fine. So I, by purpose, brought coffee in a smaller jug to be able to fit it into the cup holders. Well cushioned armrest here in the middle, openable from both directions with plenty of storage. Also cooling. Air vents are still digital or electronic, so you adjust it from the screen, the airflow. You do that, as you see here. It works as some of the other cars on the market, like the Zeekr 7X or Tesla, for instance. The temperature is a bit cold, so we set it to 22. It doesn't feel like 22, it still feels like 19 in here. So you really need to crank up the Celsius a bit if you don't want to freeze. So sturdy built. I mean, this midsection, really perfect. Underneath that you have a 12 volt outlet with a maximum output of 180 watts. You have a USB-A port and a USB-C port. One thing that's new is the control buttons on the doors. So the power window controllers are redesigned. All the buttons are redesigned. Looks a bit more premium. They are made of aluminum. Really great look and feel to those. That's a nice update to make the car or the cabin feel a bit more premium. They are also including the premium pack as a standard into the G9, which means that you get the audio sound system, but you also get the Nappa leather seats with massage in all 4 positions. So the only position that doesn't have massage is the central spot at the rear. And this is the good kind of massage. Real shiatsu, you feel it, it's stronger than most other cars. So this is really a massage system that I use a lot. They are ventilated, they have massage, they are heated, and you have plenty of adjustments. So first off, the angle is good. You have extendable thigh support, Unfortunately, the fire support is only available to extend on the screen. Otherwise, all the settings are here at the side. You also control the massage here from the side. You can toggle between the different massage programs, which are great. You have a adjustable lumbar support, 2-axis, Y and X axis for best possible fit for your seating position. Headrests, height adjustable, well cushioned, nice touch and feel to those two. So all in all, a good driver position and good seats, both here in the front and at the rear. This is really a comfortable car, and they are focusing on premiumness and comfort. That's really obvious when you drive and sit inside this vehicle. As a summary, one of the most premium interiors available on the market, I would say. This is really on par with premium cars like Range Rover, BMW. In some cases even better than that when it comes to the materials and fit and finish. So let's move over to the driving dynamics, the driving comfort. There is a couple of updates that's important to know. The G9 comes with the updated dual chamber air suspension as a standard. In the earlier model, I was complaining a bit about a too soft suspension. Not too soft for a comfortable drive, but too soft when pushing it a bit. So when accelerating, it was a bit too much nodding, and also a bit too much body roll, even if you set it to some of the stiffer settings. That's gone. The suspension is still as comfortable, but at the same time, it's more supportive. Let me just show you the different settings. If you set it to drive here, you have a couple of settings for the suspension. You have Eco, Comfort Plus, Comfort, Standard, and Sport. In Comfort Plus, it can be a bit too soft for my taste, but above that, in Comfort Standard, I think it's a really good setting for highway driving, as I do now. And I really feel that it's so much better. I get so much less like nausea because it doesn't give you that same boaty feeling as the old suspension did. As a short summary, it's as comfortable but better in all other ways than the old suspension was. So a really good upgrade, and this is one of the better air suspensions I have tried out, because the level of comfort is amazing. The body roll is also a lot less, especially when set to sport. It stiffens up. It gives you a bit of a more confidence when you push it a bit, because it's a powerful car. So I think you need that, because it's heavy, it's powerful, it's quick. So that support is really necessary for more active driving. And if you continue on the topic of comfort, cabin noise. Cabin noise is something we often talk about here on It's Only Electric. This is, if not the most silent, one of the most silent EVs we have ever tried out. We haven't measured the noise in this car yet. That's the upcoming video that we're gonna release about range, comfort, cabin noise, charging, etc. We'll put the link up here when that's available. But my immediate feeling is that it's at least as silent as the old version. I mean, obviously, but it's a really silent car. And together with the air suspension, it's a dream to drive this car for long trips. That combined with amazing upgraded charging speed, 12 minutes, makes it so effortless to travel long trips. One thing that we always walk through is the different drive modes. And you have the drive modes here too. You have Eco, Comfort, Sport, and Individual. I, as usual, drive it mostly on Individual. And then you have some sub settings where the first one is the power response, more or less the acceleration, Eco, Comfort, Sport. I think Comfort is good enough. So the different acceleration modes behaves really differently. On Eco, takes almost 1 or 1.5 seconds before the kick down to take action. And when it takes action, it builds up the power a bit more like in a combustion engine. In Comfort, you have the same type of power curve, but it kicks in a lot quicker. First off, closer to when you floor it, but also gives you more power in a shorter amount of time. And in Sport, of course, it gives you everything immediately, but it is not that Tesla punchy. It's more still building up the power. It's not giving you everything at once. So you don't get that immediate push in your back as you can feel in some EVs. As I said, Tesla, but also the Kia GT versions, for instance, also does have that kick feeling. You don't get that in this one. This is more a comfort car. You don't have the same characteristics on the G9, even if it's the performance version. The next setting is the power steering. So it's the torque in the steering wheel. And now set to heavy. I always drive it on heavy. On light it gets a bit flimsy, it gets a bit too light for my taste. In heavy you don't need that big of a movement, it gets a bit more precise and a bit heavier. It feels a lot better in heavy compared to light. Then you have the brake pedal feel, that's the response of the brakes. Smooth, normal, sensitive. I always run it on normal. Then you have the suspension height. Since it has the air suspension, we can also adjust the height. Now it's set to normal. I should probably lower that to consume some energy to low. So we have highest, high, normal, and lowest. And between highest and lowest, the delta is 10 centimeters. So 100 millimeters of actual difference. About that much. That's a lot. So now on low, that's 15 millimeters lower than on standard. And the last setting is regen, and this is where I want to spend some time. I always like to talk about regen. First off, you have 3 main modes. Low, it's coasting. Medium, it's fairly weak. In high, still not high according to me, but more than a medium. And then you have X pedal. X pedal is XPENG's own one pedal feature. I always use X pedal. I think it works okay. It's not the best one pedal drive available. It sometimes feels a bit hesitant, and it takes time to start kicking in the regen. I mean, I let go of the accelerator, it still coasts for like 1.5 seconds before it starts applying the regen, and the regen pickup takes a bit of a time. Sometimes it feels like it doesn't really add some regen, and sometimes at the red lights it doesn't really come to a full stop. Continues to just creep in like 1 or 2 kilometers per hour instead of engaging the brakes, which I feel is a bit hard to get used to. Other than that, I think it works good. And I'm glad that there is a X pedal setting, even if it's not perfectly implemented yet. So I will try to summarize my view, my experience with the XPENG G9. I have done that before with the earlier versions, but I must say they have managed to make the car even more sophisticated, even more refined, especially with the smart move to only run it on LFP batteries, independent on which version you pick. It's always LFP, and that goes for the G6 and the G9. And the entry-level car, standard range, rear-wheel drive, has a starting price of 719 Swedish crowns. That's not that bad. This one though costs 849,000 Swedish crowns, and that includes everything. So it's kind of an all-inclusive price because you get the premium package, the towage. The only thing you can add is actually the extra color. This is called K-Toki Green. I love this color. It's nice, but it's extra. So 849, it's all inclusive. That's 77,000 euros compared to the 65,000 euros for the entry-level car. So the difference is fairly big. 12,000 euros between entry level and this one. So I think maybe a sweet spot is going for the entry level car if you don't need all-wheel drive or all that range. But this one will really be a range monster. So if you do long trips a lot, this really makes sense because you have decent amount of range. The efficiency is okay. And the charging is amazing. I mean, the old car charges like a monster, 10 to 80% in 20 minutes. This one, 10 to 80% in 12 minutes. 525 kilowatts if you find the right charger. And I'm actually gonna test that. I'm gonna test breaking the European record of fast charging. So now I'm actually going to that charger. So it's a 600 kilowatt charger. I'm gonna try to max out the car and see if I can beat the stated 12-minute charging with the fastest charging car in Europe on the fastest charging charger available in Europe. So don't miss that video when I set the European record of charging. With that said, it's perfect for long trip travels. The comfort is amazing. The charging is superior. The equipment, like the sound system, the noise level inside the car, everything is very well suited for long trips. So probably the best long trip car you can get currently on the market for this price point. So I think it's time for me to end this video, and a lot of you have asked me about like comparing the G9 with the 7X that I have. And I mean, the performance version here that we have here costs a lot more than my privilege version. And to be honest, it's hard to recommend a car and say this is the better one, because it's still two very different cars. I would say that this is slightly more premium. It's a bit more silent. The suspension is even smoother than the air suspension on the 7X, because this one is riding on dual chamber air suspension. So it's smoother, it's more silent, it's more sophisticated in a lot of ways, but still kind of close to the 7X. But this is more of a like classical looking G9. So if I had to choose between the G9 rear-wheel drive standard range and the Zeekr 7X Privilege, because the price point is approximately the same, I would go for the Privilege because I prefer all-wheel drive. But that's just me. And I think that's what I can say. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if I did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, write comments, engage, ask me questions, share your thoughts about the G9. And as always, stay electric. Thank you for watching. Speak to you soon.